Conservationists today are well aware of the fact that community engagement is an integral component for successful conservation outcomes. Well, there are examples across the globe that substantiate this, be it community-based conservation practice in Nepal that ramped up populations of flagship species like Bengal tiger and greater one-horned rhino, or a steady growth of wildlife populations in Tanzania. Community engagement strategies are the game changers in protecting many of the biodiversity rich regions of the world. So, why not strategize amphibian conservation through engaging communities as they face the greatest decline today? 40% of the IUCN evaluated amphibians are threatened with extinction, which is way greater than any other class of animals or groups of species. There is no particular approach for community engagement, as it can readily be influenced by the specific vision that different people or organizations have and the impact they desire to create. But the overall essence it captures is to facilitate a two-way decision-making process on pertinent issues that brings sustainable outcomes and have lasting impacts. Engaging people in issues related to planning, implementation, and decision-making enhances their capacity to take positive action. While it is to be noted that inclusion and equity are key considerations in any community engagement process that ensures efficient decision making and influence policy outcomes. Community engagement is a mutual process where the responsibility is shared between community members and decision making institutions. Engaging the community is important as it improves the understanding of people on issues that affect them and empowers them into problem solving. A successful engagement process entails active listening to its community members on various aspects of the issue to identify feasible solutions. It allows deeper insight into underlying themes and sets priorities that may otherwise not get space for discussion. The apex bodies, who are receptive to community level solutions, provide ample community ownership over outcomes. This is the initial step in the community engagement process, as it aims to establish communication channels between stakeholders and makes room for further engagement. Approach community members to share information on amphibian decline issues using posters, fact sheets, brochures, and presentations. Seek people's opinion on the most pertinent issue of their community, let's say over-harvesting frogs to the point of depletion. Discuss why addressing it is important by acting as a facilitator and through community engagement. See if people are willing to contribute to averting the decline. After that, conduct stakeholder mapping and recognize key players in the community who can inspire others and catalyze the process. Gather published, unpublished records from the community and, if possible, conduct short surveys, essential to inform the engagement plan. Community engagement provides information necessary to engage participants and garner feedback on solutions. The informed communities can influence existing decisions or introduce new community-led decisions that lead to behavioral changes. Hold meetings with stakeholders to discuss the breadth of the issue. Let people speak and hear diverse perspectives. For amphibian conservation, such as drafting local regulations that check unsustainable harvest of frogs. If community members feel that their long-held tradition for collection, primarily for subsistence, should be allowed, then harvesting limits should be established. Offer fresh ideas like establishing catch limits per effort, enacting closed and open harvest season, and imposing sanctions on violators. Following that, ask for community members' input on these ideas and jump into the next phase of engagement. Community engagement brings diverse perspectives to the table, debunks myths, and allows new ideas to inform conservation. There is a shared responsibility between the public, the government, and organizations for ensuring successful outcomes. Work with local authorities to co-develop engagement plans on drafting regulations, enforcement, and monitoring mechanisms. Build a consensus around these through continued discussion with the stakeholders. Establish a working team, secure funding, allocate resources, and consider implementing the plan. Any feedback generated throughout the process must be incorporated and agreed upon by stakeholders. What community engagement does is it induces a sense of community ownership, since public voices are considered and responsibilities are defined. Assess the existing capacity of people to implement the solution, otherwise build their capacity, and resolve conflicts if there are any. Evaluate the progress as what worked well, what didn't, and identify new challenges that may have emerged throughout the process. Review the plan where needed, incorporate lessons learned, and implement it again. So the bottom line is, community engagement is a participatory bottom-up approach of management that is guided by people's sincerest interest to deal with the pressing issues. As every community is unique, the solutions, therefore, reflect its characteristics and require ample time and effort to bring the desired change. So keep going.